Hello, I'm Terry Grasby, and it's my job today to introduce you to the members and work of the Food Science and Nutrition SIG. There are a few of us pictured here, as you can see. We're a very friendly bunch, and as the name suggests, we're working at the interface between food science and nutrition, bringing people together from across both disciplines to aid in the communication and understanding of those two disciplines and how they interact. And of course, this is becoming ever more important as the general public increasingly relies on the food industry to produce nutritious and affordable food. Next slide, please. So as you can see, we have a good few members. So although we're currently lacking a permanent chair, we're still able to put on events by working collaboratively. So Anne Betty, who is currently our secretary, is a freelance registered nutritionist in the food industry. I'm Terry Grasby, a lecturer in food science at the University of Surrey, currently acting as the events coordinator. We also have Barbara Bray, who recently received her MBE for services to food nutrition. She's a registered nutritionist and food safety consultant, driving and delivering food safety in food supply chains. We also have Susie Crabb, who's a food technologist at Boll Foods, having studied food science and nutrition at Leeds. Simon Kane, a consultant food scientist who has experience as a senior manager in blue chip global food and health businesses. Hayley Marson, who's company nutritionist at Morrison's, where she's delivering on an integrated nutrition policy. And our student member, or one of our student members, is Hitika Sharma, studying for a Masters in Food Science and Technology at Cardiff Metropolitan University. And she's joined to further supplement her knowledge and attend workshops, webinars and student launchpads, and she has taken up the role of IFST student representative and believes that IFST has a lot to offer and is an excellent platform for students to engage with industry professionals. And we would say exactly the same thing about the SIGs. Do please feel free to join if you are a student member or at any stage of your career journey. We also have Tom Sheehan, who's a member of Amazon with responsibility for food safety. Emma Williams, who's a retail nutritionist with a doctorate in human nutrition, alongside over 20 years of experience in food science and nutrition. She's a current chair of the UK Nutritionists in Industry Group. And finally, we have Kate Halliwell, who's Chief Scientific Officer at the Food and Drink Federation, and also sits on the Nutrition Society Advisory Council, and is a collaborative member of our SIG. And between us, we develop events relevant to food scientists and nutritionists that are designed to be evidence-based while being at the forefront of current food trends. Next slide, please. So you can see this in our past events where we've covered nutrient density in foods and how it's changed over time in response to concerns that our food is becoming less nutritious due to soil degradation, something that was particularly prevalent on Twitter last year. We've also covered the nutritional impacts of lifestyle choices, whether that's going flexitarian, vegetarian, or even vegan, and how we manage that transition in terms of how we replace meat in our diets and what we replace it with, especially with respect to micronutrients and the degree of processing required to mimic meat products using plant-based foods. The event on sweetness covered what changes had happened in response to the soft drinks industry levy, better known as the sugar tax, which was introduced in April 2018, and where reformulation can go from here when consumers expect calorie reduction as well as sugar reduction when sugar is removed. So prior to the targets for sugar reduction, salt reduction has been a key challenge for the food industry over at least a decade. And this has been complicated by the need for maintaining food safety as well as taste and quality. And new technologies are being introduced to reduce sodium intakes from functional ingredients like baking powder, but care does need to be taken as many are a source of potassium, which can have taste and also health implications. Prior to that, we had a session on vitamins and minerals, which highlighted the issues surrounding intakes for particular demographic groups, as well as the use of health claims for vitamins and minerals. Food fortification is common and sometimes required, but poses some technical challenges in terms of stability, and will actually be a focus for a future webinar or event about food fortification. And what I would say that all these events had extensive opportunities for questions and answers. This is sort of a key part of what we do in our events. As you can see here in the picture, our audience has the chance to get involved and find the discussion stimulating and enjoyable too. Next slide, please. So in terms of our upcoming events as a SIG, we're currently in the planning stages for 2 events this year. The first will be on the gut microbiome, which is of increasing interest to the general public, but represents a whole new world to explore in terms of the total number and variety of gut microbes, what constitutes a beneficial effect, how do we create and sustain those beneficial effects, and how do we promote those effects through food reformulation and processing. We'll be running that towards the end of May, early June as an online webinar, and we hope to see you there. As usual, we'll be having plenty of time for Q&A at the end of the session. In addition, Barbara will be chairing a session on smart food science and nutrition at the IFST Spring Conference, which takes place from the 26th of April to the 7th of May and is currently available for sign up at the moment. We're also open to producing articles and resources for the food science and nutrition community, as well as responding to media requests. And I'll follow on what Sterling was saying about being very welcoming to new members to help grow our SIG, including members from any stage in their career. It is great for personal development and also networking. I hadn't actually met any of the other people in the membership before I joined, but it's been great working with them. So that's it from me. It'd be lovely to hear from you what events you'd like to see in future. Please feel free to email me or contact me on Twitter or LinkedIn. I'm very easy to find on Google. Grasby is quite an unusual surname, so you can find me very easily. And thank you.